This is a slow count. Good evening, we are live. It's Monday night, so it must be the ILFL Soccer Night Show. Welcome to the world out there as we talk about all of our local community football that's happening right here in East London. I have distinguished and informed guests on the stage with me tonight. Nurul Haq from London Tigers is here. Hi, Nurul. The man Abu Hasnaf is here as well, who knows everything to do with ILFL. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And I have the guru, the genius of Hackney and Leighton, that is Jermaine Wright. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, David.
We are going to talk about everything that's happening tonight because tonight we have 3 cup draws taking place for you. That's right, 3 cup draws. So all of you are involved in tonight's show, directly or indirectly. There is something for you. If you're watching from Hackney and Leighton League, Musical League, or from your very own Inner London Football League, there is something for you. 3 of these cups that are standing in front of me are all up for grabs this season, and we're going to do draws that's going to take place tonight to decide who takes part in the next round of games. Now, as the evening goes on, I'm going to explain everything to you in my own inimitable style. So that means I might make some mistakes, but we will get there, and we will get there right through the night. What we're going to start with is we're going to start with the Challenge Cup. But before I start with the Challenge Cup draw, I have to show you the preliminary round games that took place last Sunday. These were the games that took part between the bottom 6 teams in the 2nd division, because the Challenge Cup is for teams from the 1st and 2nd division. And in order to complete the numbers and make it a nice round figure of 16, we had to have a preliminary round. So here on the screen now are the results from those games that took place yesterday. 3 fixtures. AMY got themselves a home win over Riverside. Arsenal, well done to the Arsenal boys after their defeat to St Catherine's the week before. They bounced back with a 5-1 win against West End Reserve, and that kind of reminds me of the results you had a couple of weeks earlier where you lost to Tower Hamlets and then turned around and beat them in a cup. PYO, that is another result, another deja vu moment. The week before, Fish Island beat them. PYO have turned up the week after and beat them 4-1 in the cup. It just goes to show, you know, the cup is the cup and everything goes right out the window. So that puts PYO, Arsenal and AMY in tonight's draw. And before we take ourselves to that draw, Hasnat, I'm going to talk to you, sir. I don't know how much you've been watching of the 1st and 2nd division, but your thoughts on the new teams that are taking part. So Arsenal are there, PYO with the AMY are there, who look really, really good, and they're going to be up against the likes of Walthamstow, Red Star, Crusaders, who are still in. It's actually a decent cup.
Well, I mean, with this cup being the 1st and the 2nd division teams that are taking place, AMY, being a 2nd division team, look like one of those that might perform a giant killing. So we've got high hopes for AMY. Fish Island showed us some promise when they won last week, and unfortunately they've lost against PYO, but
yeah.
Well, clearly it rarely happens for us. 2 of the same team just playing each other back to back. So, yeah, I mean, high hopes for all 3 of these teams, but we're going to find out who they face against.
We are indeed. In fact, you are going to take your place now because you're going to conduct the draw. Nurul, as you're sitting closest, you are going to take part in the draw as well. So if the 2 of you would like to take your places behind the podium.
Only one thing I'd like to know is why is Arsenal, every time they win one game, they lose one game. Why win one game, lose one game? I'd like to know from Arsenal what's going on.
Do you know what? There's a different show on a Saturday night where they can debate that, but this is Monday night. So here we are on the ILFL. We're going to talk about the ILFL Challenge Cup Round 1. Like we said, 8 fixtures that are going to take place. These games are scheduled for the 20th of December. There's a lot happening in this month. These ones are scheduled for the 20th of December. There's a lot more happening earlier in the month, and we will get to those draws later on in the show. So, guys, have you got everything to hand there? You've got the right envelope, have we?
Yes, we have.
There we are. Shake them all up, shake them all up, shake them up. Division 1 versus Division 2. This is round 1 of the ILFL Challenge Cup. So without further ado, let's have the first team out of the bag, please.
Okay, first team out of the bag in alphabetical order. Ace.
Ace. Return to the Inner London Football League. They have high hopes and high expectations of doing well in the 1st division. They're the first ones out of the bag, and they're up against...
And they are up against St Catherine.
St Catherine's. Now that's a mouth-watering draw. Not so many moons ago, that was a Premier Division fixture. But here they are, two teams battling out in the lower divisions. A St Catherine's, that's a great one to start with. Who's next?
Okay, I've drawn Walthamstow Red Star.
Walthamstow Red Star, the early pace setters in the second division, scoring a hatful of goals. Who are they going to come up against? Is it going to be another mouthwatering one?
They have got Robin Hood Tigers.
It is indeed. They're up against the Robin Hood Tigers. That will be another mouth-watering tie. First round of the ILFL Challenge Cup. Next one in.
Bow FC.
Bow FC. Which Bow is going to turn up? Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Who are you up against?
They are up against Stepney B.
Stepney B doing very well. Emerging team doing very well now in Division 1. That'll be a tough little battle. Next one.
Seoul Youth.
Seoul Youth. Again, another team unbeaten. Will they go unbeaten in the Challenge Cup?
They have drawn Tower Hamlets.
And they've drawn Tower Hamlets in their first round fixture. Next up.
Okay. AMY.
AMY. Got themselves a bye through to the next round, but not a team to be taken lightly. Who have they got?
And they have got Beaumont Youth.
They're up against Beaumont Youth. Not having a good time of it in the first division. Bit of a change of scenery for some of their players, but good luck in the cup, guys.
Okay. I have picked Crusaders.
Crusaders. Again, just like Seoul Youth, flying high in Division 1, unbeaten, scoring a hatful of goals. Who's going to be next up against them?
Burdett FC.
They play Burdett FC. Let's see what happens there. That's an interesting one to call. I have to speak to Hasnat about that one.
I've picked Sire.
Sire fell out of the top division, struggling to even make amends in the first division. Who are they up against?
They're against Redcoat.
Redcoat, an emerging team now doing very, very well. I think they'll be happy with that draw. And the last two out of the hat, if you've not heard your name yet in the first and second division, you're coming out now. But in which order?
I have Arsenal.
Arsenal, doing very well in their first season. A bit hit and miss, but they will fancy themselves in a cup up against
PYO.
PYO. That's an all second division clash there. And that concludes the draw for the ILFL Challenge Cup. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Here it is on your screen, the draw again as it follows. Ace take on St Catherine's, Walthamstow Red Stars Robin Hood, Bow FC versus Stepney, Seoul Youth Tower Hamlets, AMY Beaumont Youth, Crusaders v Burdett FC, Sire versus Redcoat, and Arsenal versus PYO. Hasna, I'm going to take you right back to the top of the draw and have a look at the top two fixtures.
Yes, mouth-watering, to say the least.
Shall we talk about Red Stars versus Tigers first?
Well, teams that... Walthamstow Red Star flying high in the second division. New team, but clearly proving their credentials up against the Robin Hood Tigers team.
They're in the position where Robin Hood Tigers were last season,
Absolutely.
flying high in the second division and taking on all comers. So now you know what it feels like.
Well, Robin Hood Tigers, exactly, like for like results, and probably scored as many goals. So this is going to be a very interesting tie. I think it will probably come down to who's got the stronger defence, I would say, because both teams know how to bang in goals.
They do. Red Stars have not been tested really, so this will be a tough one for them.
Absolutely, and I think this is something that Walthamstow would certainly welcome. I think they have had it with respect to the other teams in the second division, but they have had it quite easy and they've stormed up there. I don't think that there's a team that's come anywhere near them. They've at least had 2-goal margin in every single game that they've played. So Robin Hood Tigers, a team that's just like them, skillful in midfield, plenty of stamina, speed on the wings. It's going to be a good game, and like I'm saying, I believe from what I've seen of Walthamstow, I believe they'll probably cancel each other out, and it's going to be down to sort of who slips up.
ASET versus St Catherine's, as I said before, was a Premier Division tie not so long ago. I don't want to talk too much about that, but maybe about the other two teams, Seoul Youth and Crusaders, who, without disrespecting their opponents too much, can say that they've got relatively easier ties to progress.
Burdett will surprise Crusaders.
Yeah?
Burdett will surprise Crusaders.
You've got a little inkling for Burdett.
I've got an inkling for Burdett because couple of years ago when they were in the first division, Tigers played them and they gave Tigers a hell of a game. And the players are still coming back now, Burdett. For them to, when they come back into the league, I could see Burdett causing an upset on Crusaders there.
We'd hope that Burdett put a team out for the cup because they've played Crusaders already. It was the curtain raiser for the first division. Yeah. Crusaders won that 13-1, I believe, or 13-0.
That was a taster.
Yeah, but they know what's to come this time round, don't they?
Exactly. As the PYO and Fish Island proved cup games.
You can just turn it around, flip it on its head. Guys, you're out there in the first and second division. These are your games. You haven't got long to wait, but they are coming up. They are on the 13th, and not the 20th, as I said earlier. I do beg your pardon. 13th of December. They're in a couple of weeks' time. Get your best boots on for that one because we're going to see some surprises. I have to say, second division beaten first and roles being reversed. Surprise results for us to talk about on the 14th on that show that week. In the rest of the show, in the second segment of the show, we're going to do the Champions Cup draw. It is that time of the season. Looking forward to it. That's this one over there. It's the Champions Cup, and this is why we have Jermaine in the studio. Jermaine, 5 teams in it again from the Hackney and Leighton League. 1 or 2 teams who have not been in it so far. Would you like to give the watching public that a little clue, a little taste of who's come to eat up the Champions Cup this season?
Well, we thought we'd do a few more interesting things this year. We've got another Tower Hamlets side in there in Myland. We've got a Smiley-based team in Hegan FC who do a lot of charity work. And with them, they're actually the first representatives from Hackney Lane that's come from the first division. Okay. So that's new in itself. So they'll be looking at proving themselves and seeing what the first division standards like in Hackney and Leighton. And we've also got Shakespeare, which are a very, very strong side. Myland are top of the league. They've only lost 1 game this season, and that was to Shakespeare. So we've got some very, very strong teams coming in to the Champions Cup
and
this year.
And that's before we even talk about the holders, the 2-time champions themselves. The boys from the young London Meteors who are who are going to want to make a name themselves and create history again. The hunger's there, isn't it, for them?
It's there. It's always there. And, you never get tired of saying it. Once they get the team out, they're the team to beat. I'm never tired of saying that. They know how good they are. And, it's quite possible they could win this for a 3rd time. I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, you know what? Let's have a look and see who these teams come up against, because in the next segment of the show, we're going to do the Champions Cup draw after this short break.